I work at Google Cloud. I've been there for a couple of years. I work across, lots of different customers, but in particular, I'm based in Ottawa, so I work with federal government clients. So there's a little bit here that might, be touched on a little bit government. It's basically general building, and it's an introduction. And so it's an introduction into agents, but how to build agents and really how to get started with building agents using Agent Development Kit and how kind of easy we try to make it. My background a little bit, I've always been in Ottawa, working in the tech scene for over a couple decades now. I started in app development and cloud and all that, and then made my way to Google Cloud Eventually a couple years ago. But I've always been part of the community too. So getting back in sort of tech for good and running hackathons like this over the years. And so happy to be here for sure. I have just a quick overview on agents and then I'll jump into some demos and then we'll do some questions. Pretty informal. If you have questions, just put your hand up or just yell at me because I think I'm going to be kind of looking this way too. So agents, we talk about agents a lot in the context of them just being generally helpful. Up until recently, they've been pretty focused, or up until the concept of functions and function callings, it's been LLMs and just something you can talk to. And the concept of an agent is bringing in this idea of action and having it do things and have a little bit more memory. And so it's taking that functionality of LLMs into that sort of that next frontier. And then you can imagine then in the future where you might have multiple agents perhaps working together, or a world where you are in fact working with agents. And an agent can do, the promise has always been, I want to book a flight, right? So an agent can process the language of your request. It can understand where you are and your destination. It can then go and look for flights that might need, and it might even ask you follow-up questions if it needs to know dates and times and all that. And so an agent has this concept of reasoning, and then it has access to tools. And the other key idea is that it also has a memory. So you have this concept of sessions as you work with an agent. Tools can look like access to databases. Tools can look like APIs that also have actions. And so it's really customized, really customizable. So now then let's talk about Agent Development Toolkit. So this is Google's Agent Development Toolkit, and we announced this alongside with Agent-to-Agent Protocol and Agent Engine and a few other tools at Next in April. And these aren't meant to replace MCP or anything, but it's meant to complement and help you build quickly. So ADK is just it's a toolkit that help you build quickly, but also have tight integration with the Google ecosystem and Gemini, but also can be used with many different tools, and it's meant to connect to all these different tools. So if we're looking at the full spectrum of how you could possibly build an agent, you can definitely build this all yourself if you wanted to. There's no reason why you can't. A lot of folks here have been building agents for a while. But where Agent Development Toolkit fits in is this space between no-code platforms and low-level coding. So it takes advantage and builds on top of what you may, like LangChain and those tools, but it's not quite, but it gives you the customizability that you might not get out of no-code approaches. Agents can look like just pure LLM-based agents with this kind of conversational agents within the reasoning loops can have a workflow built in where there's, you have agents running sequentially or in parallel or in a loop. And then Agent Development Kit helps you work on that custom agent and that custom logic that you may be looking for, a custom logic that has perhaps some decisions that it needs to make, and then it'll decide to whether to just simply respond to you or run a tool and then give you back your results. So let's just jump into a demo, okay? And what I'm going to show first here is, Where's my other screen here? I got to figure out what my other screen is. So bear with me for a quick second. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just figure out this. Where my screens are first. Okay, it's to the left. Okay, never mind. I got it. I figured it out. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the agent starter toolkit, and I'm going to work through installing this, and so you can see how easy it is to install so start a new agent, and I'll work through some examples of what it really takes to launch an agent here. So let's start with this here. Actually, I'm going to mirror my screen now because it make it way easier. Okay. All right, folks. I'm going to just face my screen, but you guys can still hear me if I'm talking this way? Yeah. Oh, just zoom in. Yeah, sure. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's just start okay.
Just read out some of what's on the screen because we can't see what's going on.
Yeah, you can't, eh? Okay.
So just talk.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, so we have a agent starter toolkit that helps and installs everything you need to get started with agents. And so what this is doing now, this is creating a new agent, and it's going to walk us through a process of building a new agent. And so it's first asking us what kind of agent do we want to build. There's this ADK base full stack, which is basically the research agent. I'm going to choose this number 6, a live API. And so this is an app that's going to use, we'll build an agent that will respond to audio and voice, something that will, it's good. Okay, and something that will respond to live feedback. And so we'll just really quick, wait 1 quick second, sorry. Just have to re-authenticate. Sorry, guys. I thought it was
live demo.
Sorry. Oh, amazing. This sucks. Okay, 1 second. Let me try this again. All right, live demo. Typing in passwords and everything. Amazing. Okay, let's try this again.
Yes.
Yeah, you bet. Just log in here too. Okay, back on track. We'll zoom back in. Okay, so it's going to take us through this process, and we'll just select those. We'll select the live API. We're going to run in Cloud Run. Use Central is fine for now, and I do want to continue. And so this is going to start to build, and it will be up and running real soon here. And so what I'm going to do, so it installed everything it needed to, and we're going to now then, it's going to install other dependencies, and we're going to just jump right into the playground in a very quick second. And the playground will be a fully functioning app with an agent attached to it for live API. 1 sec. Okay, cool. While it's running, what I can do is I can pop over and show. So what it's creating here is, so it's gone and created this Agent 3. Yeah, you can kind of see that here. It's this Agent 3 new app. It has this app and an agent, just a little bit of code that defines how this agent runs. It has a front end, which you'll see in a second, and a deployment for the Terraform and CI/CD that it needs to run to deploy this app after it's done. So let's go have a look at and see how our process is doing. Okay, it's just starting up. Okay, cool. And so now we're running this app. It just pops up in a second. So the app is going to be a live assistant. So it's a live assistant, so you can talk to it and show audio and video as soon as it pops up.
What is the knowledge base?
The knowledge base?
Yeah, what?
So this will be based on Gemini. So it's been trained on a lot of the web, but then it will also have access to audio and video. Okay, cool. So what I'll do is I'll just starting up still. Okay. All right. Hello. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Talking to me. Let's try this. Okay. Hey, what am I holding up right now? Okay. Good enough. Okay, cool. So that was basically a agent's live response agent that I launched in a matter of 30 seconds. There was nothing else that I needed to do to launch that agent. And then what you can do then, and the real crux of what I'm trying to bring to you, and I'll show you more of how you could work on this, is that you have all the code that you could do to personalize this, to adjust the prompts. What you would do here then is that you can adjust the prompts to say, to give it further instruction, to give it maybe verticalized instruction specific to what the use case that you need it to do. So it's kind of giving you the starter code for this particular agent. So let's just jump into another example because I want to show you something that might be just using slightly different content and slightly different agencies, so to speak. So let's see. Have a look at this. We'll go to, okay, so first we'll just launch this code here. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is this software bug assistant. And so this is a agent that has a connection to a database of tickets. It could be Jira, it could be an internal case management system. And we're going to talk to it, and we're going to actually have to do some actions. And so what I'm going to start with is just this URL here. I've launched this already, but I'll show you the code too as we go, so you understand what we're working on. And so this app is, again, just a simple chat interface, but you can imagine building it into a different interface. Let's see if this loads. I'm just going to show you while we're doing this.
Do you mind flashing the GitHub URL where you can clone this repo?
Yeah.
So anybody that wants to try this out, this is the GitHub repo that you should take a look at.
Yeah. So GitHub, Google Cloud Platform, Agent Starter Pack. I can share that on Discord later too. And the other one too is, and which is basically what I'm showing you, is we also launched ADK samples. And ADK samples are just a host of agents that you can start with. And I'm showing you this software bug assistant. All these are, you can run fairly instantly. So this is also a really good resource. So let's have a look at this. So tell me about ticket number 5. And so this is going to go and, so what's happening behind the scenes is the LLM is processing the request, and it's going to extract the tool. So the first thing is that it found the need for a tool, right? And it found the tool of get tickets by ID. And I'll show you how you configure that it's literally just going to a database. But then it gets the response from the tool, and turns it back into an LLM response. So it tells you about the ticket, says what else do you want me to do. Okay, cool. So, and I can say dig into it. I say, tell me more about the CVE, which is the vulnerability code. The ticket number 5. And so it's going, and then this is where the LLM will reach into its own knowledge and talk about the CVE, the actual vulnerability, because it will know about, cybersecurity vulnerabilities, and it will also have access to Google as well too. And so it gives me a full output of, the impact of this particular CVE. Okay, cool. And then, then I look at it, I realize it's not that important. So I'll say let's go ahead and de-escalate 5. I see if we can actually navigate my spelling mistakes. Okay, let's change priority to high. Okay, so it actually finds a tool, okay, and it's actually updated the ticket priority immediately, directly, all with plain language. Okay, then I'm saying, and I noticed too that this was assigned to Frank White. I'm saying, okay, well, let's assign this to Takaberry at google.com because he's just much better at these kind of tasks. So it says, okay, I'm unable to directly assign an existing ticket. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here quickly is the tool for updating ticket assignees wasn't created yet. So I'm going to jump in to the code to show you how easy it is to add a new tool. Okay, so I'm going to go in the code because this is all deployed already. So I'm going to have a look at first, so a quick intro. So in ADK, that particular agent has a root agent, and the root agent has access to these tools. And you see the current, it can do the current date, and that's actually a thing that LLMs don't necessarily have access to. So you give it a tool for the current date. It has a search tool so that it can do a kind of a fuzzy, it can do a Google search for grounding. LangChain tool, and I'll show you what that does. And then Toolbox tools is the ability for it to go and interact with the database. And then MCP is a tool that will actually enable it, help it to go and interface with GitHub. And so I have this tools Python here that defines, and again, not a lot of code, but it pulls in the search agent tool. And so this is a Flash-based agent. We have the LangChain tool, which is really a proxy for Stack Exchange. And so I could ask it about if there are any Stack Exchange articles, and it will know, and using this LangChain connector to go and search the Stack Exchange API. This tickets tool set is the ability for it to interact with the database. It's a wrapper for the tickets database in particular, and that's kind of custom. And then this MCP tools is for the GitHub access, and I provided it with my GitHub path to search GitHub. Okay, so lastly, then the precise definition is in MCP. And so this toolbox. This tools is, you can see how it's creating a interface to the database. And so this particular search tickets tool, part of the tool MCP toolbox, is doing a three ticket search, and in this case using embeddings built into Cloud SQL to do the search. Get ticket by ID is a really simple SQL, and so you can see that this definition is really quite straightforward. And so what I did was I added update ticket assignee. Okay, cool. And so by adding this block definition, I can now have the agent answer this question. And there was no other change to the agent because, well, actually there's one more change to the agent because I had to tell the system command of how to do it. Just quickly back here, as part of the root agent definition, there is an agent instruction. And this is the orchestration level instruction. And this looks like you're a skilled word wrap in here. All right, you're a skilled expert in triaging debugging software issues for coffee company. And it has instructions, and then it has a definition of the tools. And it links the concept of updating a ticket assignee. So this tool allows you to update the assignee of a ticket. Assignee can be one of Sam, Maria, Frank, or Tackberry. And so this is what this is what was added. Okay, cool. So then what I'm going to do then, I have to actually, so since I've done this work locally, I need to run this locally. I haven't deployed this. I'm just going to need to run my, what's that?
2 months, because there's another one.
Yeah, okay, all right. So you know what? I think you get the picture. Basically, it will then allow you to update the ticket assignment. So super lightning fast, but yeah, I hope you guys got some sort of inspiration about on sort of agent development toolkit helps out, and it's the kind of thing that kind of really rockets you forward in this kind of development. A couple of minutes for questions.
There's a few questions we can have.
Several questions.
Jump in with one.
First of all, can you how customizable?
Yeah, so I'm trying to show that it's very customizable in the way that you can create your own tools, you can create your own prompts, you can use whichever model you want, and you can have multiple of all of those things within one agent, and you can operate multiple agents too. And so what's also behind in cloud and all the CSPs that have this ability to orchestrate multiple agents and have like an agent garden and have an agent engine that can run these. And so as we've seen with MCP, these tools are meant to connect to other agents and be connective tissue rather than prescriptive and deterministic on how they run.
Is it just so you have access to an agent that runs on the cloud, or you create an instance of an agent that can run from the data?
Yeah, it can do both. So you can run. So this in particular is running off the Gemini API, but you can run off of Cloud or Open API, or you can also run off of a local or even air-gapped model.
Can you set your own
Your own what?
your function for the agent itself? Or,
Your own function? Yeah, prompt? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the whole crux of how you get it to do what you want it to do and customize it.
Okay, I have many more.
Okay, well,
Data that you want to keep specific to your own organization.
Yeah.
Can you sort of put a wall around that and still interact with it?
yeah. So your cloud service providers will provide you with a perimeter, and you can deploy these tools within that perimeter. And within that perimeter, you have full enterprise control over all of your own data, and it never leaves.